Hey everybody, my name is Patrick and I'm the videographer with Patrick G Films, and I'm about to tell you why I switched from Sony to Canon. Now before I tell you why and what I switched to, I'm going to tell you what I started on. About a year ago I bought a Sony a7 II and it came with a kit lens, and ever since I've been buying and trading Sony cameras to find my perfect Sony setup. So down that line I had the a7 II and then I switched to an a6500. I also bought an RX10 Mark II. And then I switched to the a7 II and a7R2. Now those two cameras are unrefutably amazing cameras, and it was a joy to use them. The Sony glass that I used was the Sony Zeiss 50mm f1.4. That was an incredible lens. If you're doing video work, it has that, you could declick the aperture ring. It's great. And I also had the 7200 f4 G Master lens, and I also just had the the 24 to 70, 28 to 70 f4 Zeiss, just the wide to telephoto f4 lens. Now when I had Sony, the reason I bought it was because I saw a lot of creators using it. They said it was great. I had 4K potential when I upgraded to the 6500. And when I was using it, there were just a few things that I just couldn't quite deal with anymore that Canon offered. So I switched to Canon and I bought this camera is the C100 Mark II. It's a cinema series camera, and this one here is the Canon 6D Mark II. Also, the glass I ended up buying was the 16 to 35 f4 IS version. It was 50% off at the camera store, so that was great. And I also bought the Sigma 50mm f1.4, and I'm going to be buying the 70 to 200 f2.8 version 2 with IS. Just waiting for it to pop up on the used market. So I have a list here, and I'm going to tell you the reasons why I switched from Sony to Canon. So the biggest reason was reliability. Using Sony cameras, you're always just worried that they're a little too finicky. Like they're great, their cameras are built really well, except you can't be mean to them. You always have to be nice. You have to pet them, say it'll be okay. You're a good camera. You won't overheat. It's one of those things that I'm not that kind of person that I want to trust that I can take care of my camera. Like when I had Sony, I had like raincoats for them just in case it rained. There's always just situations that I didn't want to put my camera in. And with Canon, I trust that it will be just it'll be okay. Like I kind of joked about the overheating. The C100 Mark II has an exhaust vent. That's insane. All the cameras are weather sealed, glass is weather sealed. You can get it wet and it will be fine. You don't have to worry about the rain. I mean, you shouldn't leave your camera out in the rain, but if it starts to rain, I'm not going to freak out like I would with Sony. The other reason is I want to start getting into more documentary filming, or just any type of filming that means I can just put my camera in harm's way and it'll make it through it all right, as long as I don't like throw it into a river or something. Whenever I saw filmmakers that I enjoy doing travel films, etc., they always had a Canon in their hands. And it had to be for a reason. It had to be that they just trusted it for so long, that they started on them and they always will preach Canon products. Second biggest reason I switched to Canon was for the amazing dual pixel autofocus. So that's like when I put my hand up here, it pulled focus by itself and it looks great. And when I put my hand up there, like it just does it great. And then it pulls right back in focus and it's fine. That's amazing. And Sony has also incredible focus system, but it will never match the focus system of Canon products. When I have used this briefly to test it, this is insane. I can keep focus and I can see it. Both of these have flippy outy screens, which is insane. It's just not something I've been able to have with a Sony product. Reason number 3, color. It is undisputable that Canon series cameras, whether it be cinema or DSLR or whatever, has an amazing color science. When you're shooting wedding films a lot, it's a lot of really quick turnarounds. And you don't want to be messing around for a couple of weeks on color grading. You want to know that the footage coming out of your camera is amazing. So that's one of the things that I really liked about Canon, was they have that contrasty look that I really love, and kind of forced with the Sony. I pulled out all the blacks, that kind of thing. And right out of the body, Canon will give you that. Another reason why I switched to Canon was the cost. With Sony, glass was costing like $1,500 to $2,000 every time I wanted a new lens or wanted to switch lenses. They release bodies every 6 months, so it's like, if you're a tech geek like me, you kind of, every time something's released, you think, hey, you know, I kind of want that, I'll switch. And it's just so expensive. When you're switching with Sony, it's like every 6 months, they're like, hey, give me more money, more money. So everything that I bought this for was an incredibly good price. Like I bought the C100 Mark II for the same price as A7S II, which was, to me, a great bargain. It was actually a little bit less than a brand new A7S II. And the glass, like this amazing lens was half price. And you can actually use third-party lenses like this Sigma 50mm f.1.4. It's only $1,000. You can't buy a good quality f1.4 Sony autofocus lens that works for $1,000. And that's one thing I really like about Canon is you can use these third-party lenses that they almost look better. I mean, the Sigma 51.4 to me looks better than the Canon 1.2. Just kind of what I think. And it worked. Like when I shoot with the autofocus on for a picture on the 6D, it pulls its focus really quickly and really effectively. So price-wise, you can save a lot of money with switching to Canon. It might be not be the biggest reason you want to switch, but once you're investing a lot of money into gear, it's definitely something to think about. Another reason why I needed to switch to Canon was because I wanted to invest in being a videographer and not just a little bit of both. I kept receiving emails saying, you know, can you come shoot this concert? It's a couple hours long, so just, you know, easy, set up the camera, it's an easy day for you. And you have to say no, because when you're shooting on a DSLR, you can only record for 29 minutes and 59 seconds. And that's a bummer to say I can't do video because my camera doesn't do it. And then they question why you're a videographer, why do you have a camera? Yeah. And that's why I bought the C100 Mark II. It can record for an unlimited length of time, theoretically, and it's built for video. Like it'll never overheat. It's got those beastly exhaust vents. It's got red start and stop buttons. Like that's just when you switch to a cinema body camera, you're definitely in it for video. Like this camera doesn't take pictures. It's built for video. Like the shutter angle, it doesn't say 1/48. It says 180 degrees, and that's kind of cool. Another reason I switched to Canon, it's just a simple little thing, and you can get external monitors if you do Sony, but both of these cameras, they have flip-out screens. That's pretty cool. As someone who wants to kind of film himself a little bit more, do more videos like this, being able to see myself in that screen, I know I'm in focus, I know it's recording, everything's fine. When I record myself on a different channel, on a Sony, I wouldn't know if I was in focus, and I'd finish the video and it'd be done. I wasn't recording, or I was completely out of focus. Like the 51.4 did not really pull focus by itself too well. The other lenses did fairly well, but when I used that 51.4, it did not work as well as I wanted it to. It would detect its face, but it would not go in very quickly. So that's one little thing about Canon to think about. So those are the main things that I mentioned: reliability, cost, color science, dual pixel autofocus. Now here's the other thing. With Sony, I was replacing batteries every 45 minutes. I had the battery grip on, so I had two of them, so it was maybe an hour and a half per battery change, but an hour and a half of record time is not really that good. Like on a 12-hour wedding day, you're replacing your battery a lot. I had 15 batteries on me in the day, and I would be stressed when I would be getting, you know, we'd start the dancing, and I have 3 batteries left, and I'm like, we made it. But I'd always be charging just in case, because with Sony, you never know, like maybe it just goes through these batteries really quick. So I'll just do a size comparison. So this is the Sony, this is a third-party battery, but you can see it's the MPFW50. It's just the battery that's in all the Sony cameras except for the new ones. And when I switched to Canon, when I switched to this C100 Mark II, it came with this bad boy. This is the BP955. This battery will last me 6 hours, theoretically. Only changing your battery once every 5 or 6 hours on a wedding day, that's amazing. I don't have to go into every single different thing and think, okay, do I have enough battery? Should I replace it now or should I replace it later? Because I was replacing batteries when it was at 30% on Sony, because that can only last you another 15-20 minutes, which isn't long. If there's going to be a speech, it's going to be dancing. So if something's going to start, you have to replace your battery and make sure it's good to go for the next one. But this one, every 6 hours, that's amazing. And this isn't even the big high capacity one. In this camera now is the BP975, which is bigger and will last me even longer. So I could bring these 2 batteries with me and I should be fine. I'm gonna have a third pretty soon, but I'm a fan of redundancy. So that's briefly what I wanted to talk about. Those are the biggest reasons why I switched to Canon. I really wanted a cinema series camera that was dedicated to be a video camera because all I do is video work. So I needed something that was a video camera. I didn't want to use a DSLR that was sacrificing some qualities that video could offer. And this one just had everything that I wanted. If you have any questions, you can ask them down in the comments. I'll make sure to reply to them, answer any questions that I can. And if you want to see more of these videos, make sure you subscribe because I'm going to start doing more Canon-based videos with my experience switching from Sony to camera, the differences, you know, that kind of thing. And yeah, so we'll see you in the next video.